Get down to business. Let's tear this baby apart. Here we go. Okay guys, today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be rebuilding a throttle body with a throttle body kit on a 1989 Chevy Caprice 5.0 liter 305 motor. Now this will work with any Chevy 350. It even works with 5.7 liters Camaros, Silverados. This is a pretty common engine that went in these vehicles. Anyways, this is the throttle body injector rebuild, and I'll be showing you that right now. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Alright, so the first thing you can see, we removed our air filter cap on our air filter reservoir, and we're going to take out our air filter reservoir. Now I've already disconnected my my hose from the left side of this air filter inlet, and also up front here. And it just comes right off, and there's your throttle body. First thing we're going to do is we're going to label our throttle body wires. This side, blue and red, is passenger. Your wires may be different colors. Driver side is white and green. So this is driver, and this is passenger. Now that those are labeled, you can go ahead and push and remove the wires off the top of your injectors. Really simple, you just press these down and pull up. Alright, after you've labeled these, what you're going to do is this ring that's going to come off, set that aside in a safe spot where you're not going to lose it. Then what you're going to want to do is remove these wires, your throttle position sensor, and any other electronic that you might need to take out. Unplug this little wire on the bottom here. Take some channel locks. Should be a So now we're on the side of the throttle body, and we are going to be working down here, the throttle side. So I pretty much, down here, this little one here, you're just gonna slide forward, drop it down and out. It just slips right on. This one here, on the top, this one right here, what you're gonna do is there's a little, you have to bend this tab back to get it off. And it is off now. And this comes right off like that. This last cable right here is for the cruise control, which is right here. Get this cable off here, is slide it to the front and then pull it out. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the fuel line coming to the back and also the return line from the back. Now that is I'm using a 17. I know that's metric, but it works. So I believe it's a 7/16. Couldn't find 7/16 wrench right now. You know, I was filming a video, so I said, the hell with it. I'm just gonna go ahead and use a 17. And this thing is probably going to spray a little bit of fuel because I have just been trying to get it started, and nothing. Well, it's not that bad. Do the other side now. Right, so I removed this return line, my fuel line here on the side. I unplugged all my wires, throttle positioning sensor, and then also your this is another wire going to the computer, making sure you have correct amount of flow from your sensors and all that stuff. And then on this side, what you're going to want to do is remove this. It looks like we're ready to remove our throttle body now. And to remove our throttle body, you have 1, 2 on the right side here, and 1 here. So you got 3 total. and those look like 1/2 inch. So we'll remove those now. Alright, so we're going to remove, these are 1/2 inch bolts. Alright, again, set all these bolts to the side. They're the 3 black bolts. I got a bucket, put those in the bucket. That's, excuse me, I got a cardboard box. And now, look at that. My throttle body came right off. So, be very careful. You got to remove these wires through here. I'm going to do that now. And then you're going to plug the holes that are underneath the throttle body into the intake manifold so nothing gets inside of there. Build this thing now. So there's the throttle body. So let's go to get this thing rebuilt. Definitely gonna want to go ahead and see, I have a gasket right here that's all torn apart inside of my intake manifold. Doesn't look good at all. It's got a lot of gunk in there. So clean that out a little bit. Right now I'm gonna plug these holes. This is a gasket that comes inside of the gasket. The gasket kit. So that's junk. So let's plug those holes now. I got rubber gloves or rags. You can use anything you want. I got a rag right here. So plug those holes up. Guys, so you guys want to know how to test your injector on your Chevy 305, 350, 5.7 liters, whatever it is that you got. If you have the first generation of type of injectors from Chevy or Ford or whoever used these, the easiest way to know if your injectors are good or bad is to hook up a 12-volt battery. Now a lot of guys will use an Energizer 9-volt Duracell 9-volt battery, just a 9-volt battery, and they'll try to click it like this. Well, guess what? Sometimes 9 volts isn't enough power to loosen up all the sedimentation that's been in there from all that old gas that was in these injectors if this car's been sitting. So you need as much power as possible. So what I always do is I use 12 volts. When you hook up your battery, you got alligator clips going to, you know, your positive and your negative terminal. All you're gonna do, make sure these don't connect because they'll arc. So you're just gonna take a negative, put it on one side, and you're just gonna tap it. Tap, 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 tap. And if you hear a little clicking as you're tapping, that means the injector is good. So this injector is good because I can hear the tapping. So we'll do the left side now, the right side. So the injectors are good. You have to use 12 volts. If you don't use 12 volts, sometimes it's not enough power with the 9-volt battery to get these loose. So use 12 volts, otherwise you just could be wasting money. If you didn't need to replace an injector, it could have been cleaned out. So this is what you're gonna need to rebuild your throttle body injector. Carburetor choke body cleaner. Now don't think that I'm just gonna spray this on there. I'm not tearing this apart. No, this baby's being torn apart. There's my instructions, my rebuild kit. You need a flathead screwdriver. This is just a screwdriver for these tips, a T25 and a T20, and a brush. This is a soft bristle brush. You can also use a old toothbrush. Make sure you don't give it back to your wife, your daughter, your kids, or yourself, because you will have a nasty experience in your mouth. Anyways, let's go ahead. Let's get down to business. Let's tear this baby apart. Here we go. That's this enough. When you take this apart, you're going to have a lot of pieces. So make sure you mark where the pieces all go. If you forget, that's okay, because there is a manual, but you don't want to resort back to this. It's better to know right off the back of your mind and back of your hand to figure out where the stuff goes. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take off the throttle position sensor, and we're also going to remove the electronic input there, and after that we'll attack the top. So to remove this throttle body position sensor, we're going to need a large wrench. Locks like these. So that's pretty much all nasty. It's got a lot of carbon in it, so put this to the side. Now these are T25. Alright, so that's removed. Just remember how that goes, because there's a spring there that activates the other side of the throttle, which tells the computer how much gas to put into the, or how much pulse to put into the injector to make it go. So as you step on the fuel, that releases, it sends a signal back to the computer. I already attacked the top, and this is where it gets a little bit intricate. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the injector assembly. And that's two T25s on the left and on the right. What you want to do is you want to get this whole, oh excuse me, there's also a third right on the top here. You want to get the throttle body injectors, you want to get the injectors away from the throttle body so you can start soaking this. Alright, so it looks like down here on the bottom, both of these are going to need to be removed because I can't get it through there. So you can take your channel locks. This one looks like it's gone, but usually there's it's inside of there. So there's a little got this one loose off camera. I had to take it over to a vise, put it in the vise. So you can see the tip on this. There's a little plastic, a little tiny plastic seal there. It's like a little O-ring here. So that's going to go back on from our kit. So that goes like that. So we'll set that aside with this because that needs to be replaced. And this one is actually gone. It's actually inside of the throttle body. I can see it inside of there. So I'm going to have to get a little pick and pull it out here. Okay, so what I did was I took a very, very small Allen key and I put it in here like this, and then I pulled forward, and this is that little O-ring that I was telling you about. But that was it. So make sure you get both of these out. So this one goes on the return line like so. And you got new ones of these that come with the kit, but that's how it goes. Flare side out. The injector pod off of the throttle body. What you're going to do, put the screws back where you found them, because we don't need to access this. Well, first take off this, use your flathead screwdriver, take off this gasket here off your throttle body. That's going to be replaced. You can actually toss that away. Get this one out here. You might have to scrape it. Remember, this stuff's been on here for a while. Remove this ring on the outside, because you want to get you want to get as much carburetor cleaner onto the aluminum as possible so that it looks good after it's done. Alright, now we got our throttle body all taken care of, so what we're going to do now is pretty much, I love this part, I'm just going to douse it a little bit in carb cleaner. You don't have to go crazy. Let this stuff sit, let it work. You see it's pulling everything already off. Dump this nastiness out right now. Now go ahead and do the back side, same thing like we did with the front. Alright, so let that sit. Alright, so now this is the tear down of the actual injection part of the throttle body. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws on the top. Now on the right side of my table I have my throttle body screws and everything that went into the throttle body, and on my left side I have everything that went to my injection body. Now I'll note that some of these screws may be different lengths. So far they are both the same. They are about, say, 1.25 inches. This is the center. So I'm estimating that this one will be the last long 1.25 inch screw. Nope, look at that. It's the same size as the others. It is also 3/4 to 1 inch. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws. 5 of which are 3/4 to 1 inch. And 3 that are about 1.25 inches. All of our screws are accounted for. Now we're going to simply try to pry this. This has been on for a long time, so we're going to pry this. Be careful while you're prying it, because remember there's gaskets and everything, and if you want to see where they go, this thing, here we go. Okay, so I actually pulled this apart. So this is the top of our throttle body. As you can see, there's a gasket right here, and we're going to go ahead and remove that gasket. So remove this black gasket. Probably going to need a razor knife because this thing is on there, boy. And then here's your injectors. Special way to remove them. See what I did there? I used a pair of, and I just pried it right up. So when I'm pulling out my injector, I have it's like an O-ring that goes right around the rim of the injector. We're going to say the top. So if the injector goes back in, that would go around in there, like so. So as I pulled that out, then on the inside here you also have a gold ring. That is the set ring for the O-ring here. So you're going to pull that out. So those are, so first the O-ring, then the gold ring. So we're going to set those aside. And then on the bottom you have another O-ring on the bottom, and you have a screen. And this screen twists and it pulls off. And that screen is done. So screen, 2 O-rings, and a gold ring. Now this injector is going to need to be cleaned. I'll show you how to do that next. And we're going to remove the other one now. So again, take your needle nose pliers, set it like this, pulls right out. 2 O-rings, screen, and your metal ring. So that's that. So this is completely torn down apart. We're going to take this and we are going to spray this now into our carb cleaner bucket. And we're also going to, well, we'll get to this next, but we're going to put this in our parts and spray this. Before I go, I just wanted to tell you all that there was a gasket on the top right here, and I just went ahead and I removed that gasket. So that's going to be in our rebuild kit also. So now this can actually go into your carb cleaner bucket. So we'll remove these, and this is going to have another gasket underneath it. It's like an orange or reddish color. And there's a spring in there, that's why you gotta be careful. Okay, so as I'm pulling this up, the spring is like that. There's nothing underneath here. I left my screws. I'm gonna put these to the side. Now you take your spring off, put that to the side, and this comes right up, and you have a new one of these in the kit. Okay, so that's off. So that goes just like that, with this piece on the inside of the throttle body. This is going to all get cleaned out now. And there's no more grommets or any washers or anything like that in there. There is a small plastic gasket here and a gasket here, and we'll get those off, try to remove these now. Starting to remove it, but it's just really stuck on there from all the years. So we'll do that now. Guys, so I did this off camera, sorry. I pretty much scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed everything I possibly could get with an old toothbrush. All my parts with old toothbrush, brake cleaner, carb cleaner, back and forth, and you can see it did a really good job. So I'm happy with the cleaning process of it all, and now I'm ready to put this stuff all back together.